Hi, my name is Jian and I'm the CEO and co-founder of SourceSage. I'm sure pretty much a lot of you have wondered what is the sales strategy of SourceSage, and so today, I want to take the opportunity to have an idea, to come up with a series of internal YouTube videos and also, of course, a podcast together with myself and of course John, who is the head of customer success, to share with you a few things that will be crucial to your selling, because a lot of you, since joining SourceSage, has been on the ground gaining experiences. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I think in general, as we increase the number of customer success managers, we have to really focus on our key strategy to ensure that the company strategy remains consistent with our mission, and that a lot of you will also reduce the number of mistakes made when some of this sharing can actually be done, and it wouldn't be a hassle, I think, for John and myself to keep repeating ourselves to even new incoming CSM. So today I just want to share with you guys one important aspect of your work as a CSM, and that is market positioning. Because before you sell, you have to first understand where is our product positioned in the market. Now, the easiest way to look at this is to first understand the category of market information space, and of course you have the weekly pricing and reports, the customized reports and consultancy space, benchmark pricing, which is the holy grail of the market information space, where it costs 1 million or over millions of dollars for each benchmark price that's offered by the PRAs. And of course, individual one-off reports also remains as a category for individual buyers. So to a large extent, we are playing in this field called the weekly reports or weekly pricing and reports. And I think to a large extent, I'm pretty sure a lot of you, try to target the MNCs, the large companies, medium companies, small companies, because that's the user you get. When you first join SourceSage, that's the SourceSage users that we pass to you under your portfolio. But I think it makes a lot of sense to really segment out the users, and later I'll share with you a few things under today's topic of market position, which is what is the current landscape, which I'm sharing here, what is the existing data, what does existing data show, where we are most successful and profitable, which segment are we successful, and lastly, how do we go from here, how do we achieve our success as a market leader in the future in a certain category. Right, I think the best way to think about this, and that revelation comes a few months back, when I started talking to a few customers on the ground. And best way to visualize is to segment out, MNC and large customers, medium customers, and of course small customers. And if you look at that, this is an increasingly competitive space with ICIS, your Platts, your Reuters, your Argus, your IHS, your Polymer update on the lower end of the market, the Olio line, the POA, Palmer Analytics, Verdana Insights, SCI 99 in China. And I think to a large extent, while many of them do not hit on compete with us, because it depends on the products that we are selling, I think there's a lot of overlap. And our existing data shows that we are actually pretty successful, I must say, in this category of user, where I want all the CSM to really focus on when it comes to medium-sized customers with about 40 to about 60 employees in the company, maybe owning 1-2 factories or plants in the local region. I think these are the companies where we are able to price competitively, not too low, not too high like our competitors, but in this medium segment of the market where it allows us flexibility to move up market, to upsell to other more premium customers should our performance increase. And the reason I just want you guys to look at this is because through our 2 years of selling this market information, I'm just going to erase this, or you can get this just by pausing the video and leaving some comments if you have some question. It's the following, right? If you check, I've checked your finance side, and to a large extent, the way we see this is that if you look at whole spectrum of these customers or our subscribers, you will see individual customers here, small customer for S, medium customer, large customers, and of course MNC. Technically speaking, what you will see is this line. Okay, individual, there's a lot, and MNC goes to very small numbers. But interestingly speaking, I think we are seeing, you know, comparatively high number of medium companies who subscribe to us, right? That goes to about 35.6%, right, of all the corporate companies, right? So 35.6% of all the corporate subscribers comes from this middle segment of the market. And if we compare the average sales revenue gotten from a single corporate account, what we can see to a large extent is that we would expect, of course, individual to the smallest, small, medium, large, and MNC. But interestingly speaking, what we see is something along this line, right? Right. And the amount of revenue we gotten from the medium customers actually justifies the amount of effort we need to put in. Because if you think about it, MNC accounts, you need to go through a huge number of processes, and that will take your time, your sales cycle. And to a large extent, if we have a sizable revenue, which is about 1.5K USD for medium segment of customers, and that accounts for a huge part of our success stories, then we should be technically focusing in terms of your first effort on the ground on medium customer. So moving forward, for all the CSM, you have a list of SourceSage users in your database, in your region. You should really segment out individual customer, if this is a small company, a medium company, a large company, or an MNC. And so if you have around 30, 60 employees in the company, 1-2 factories under their company, that would constitute a medium company or a medium-sized company that we should technically target. So that is actually existing data, what it shows. Now, if we project a bit further down the road, where do we run? I'm sure pretty much a lot of you, when you study business, you come across this term called the disruptive innovation, right, by Clayton Christensen, right? And to a large extent, I want to make use of this concept to try to highlight you what is our strategy moving forward, right? Because a lot of disruptive innovation, as you know, happens on the low end of the market, right? So perhaps SourceSage is positioned in the medium or low end, right? Closer to low end. This individual, this is medium, and then you have the large customer, and then you have your medium, your MNC, right? So for companies like ICIS, where as you know, they recently laid off a huge number of salespeople in China, especially, they're focusing on the 80-20 rule, which is I'm focusing on 20% of my customer that's generating 80% of my revenue, and that is actually the MNC companies that are subscribing to, let's say, the ICIS subscriptions, right? Because they can pay, right? But to a large extent, when ICIS then develops innovation, right, be it analytics tool or web application, is catered to this existing customer. So the performance in itself for such products normally outweighs what is required on the lower end of the market. And I think that's how SourceSage would position the future, which is the way I see it is that while we target medium customers with our solution, right, the easy, fast-paced, easy to go solutions that we have on the mobile app, the web app, and the contents that's focusing on the certain verticals. While we improve both on contents on the product side, the ultimate goal, of course, is to move upstream, right, to be able to price then competitively with a much better performance to take down the MNC account, right? So I hope through this session, which is this series, you guys will gain a better understanding as to the current landscape of the market information space, what does existing data shows, and lastly, where do we go from here, right? Which is adopting the disruptive innovation concept by Clayton Christensen. Thank you.